Like,
Da, da, theme song, theme song. Da, da, da.
I'm Tanya,
and I'm Nikki,
and we are 1,000 Eyes in 1. We're
the
back.
podcast.
The
We are
podcast
back.
ladies. We're back. Your favorite ladies. We're back with a new episode for you. Today we're talking about Wheel of Time. It's back.
Woohoo!
I'm so excited. I've been really
Me
looking forward to
too.
this. So today is season
Yeah.
2, episode 1. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, 1,000 Eyes in 1 podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as 1,000Eyes1, Facebook and Instagram, 1,000Eyes in 1. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.
The best show that Amazon has.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that with this first episode, we're off to a really good start.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of action, a lot of hints at things to come,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of tension. All in all, a good episode. I think it was a strong start.
Me too. The pacing was really good. It's like, sometimes when you start a new episode of a season, I think they're going to spend a lot of time just recapping and reestablishing people, but they didn't do that. It was just poof, starting right over again. You know what it reminded me of a little bit? Remember, I forgot which season it was of Game of Thrones where it like starts with Sam and it's set in Old Town and he's like doing the gross things, emptying out the chamber pots and stuff. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was just like boom, action from the beginning. You didn't like they were expecting you to catch up and figure out instead of having to explain it all to you
Yeah,
that this is what's happening.
right.
And they respected our intelligence. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
My first thought was, why is this little girl playing outside by herself in the dark?
Who was babysitting?
Well, we've learned that people who are dark friends are babysitting. They're not the
They
best
are the worst.
babysitters,
Do not hire.
apparently.
Yo,
0
it's just
stars.
she's out there chilling, like playing with I forgot what they called the yin yang thing. And I just like at first I didn't really catch I was only paying a little bit of attention, so I didn't really catch it until when I rewound it. But I was like, oh my god, there's eyes in the dark. Those are totally trolls. Like, if
Yeah.
that's a danger, why is she outside
And she's
in
just
the
like
dark?
looking like, whatever, until they start roaring.
Yeah, and they start running towards her like the Dothraki. Ugh,
I had
it's
no
terrifying.
idea what that was setting us up for at all, but turned out to be a dark friend meeting.
A dark friend, small council.
Yeah. What I found interesting was we saw a Shinaren uniform.
Mhm.
We saw Patton Fane, obviously, and he's wearing a mask. So it makes me think
That
the
treacherous
others,
motherfucker.
that treacherous motherfucker, makes me think that the others were likely wearing masks as well. But the most interesting thing I saw was an Aes Sedai ring with a black stone.
Like underneath the table where she was like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I haven't read the book, so I don't know if that's like, I mean, I'm sure it's an important detail, but like, ooh, I'm excited to learn
Well,
about
I
that.
won't spoil anything, but I'll tell you it's an extremely important detail.
Yes.
This isn't spoiler, but like they talk about it in the show. I think they've talked about it in the show so far. If not, they will. It's not spoiler, but they talk
Mhm.
about how no one believes that there's a black Aja. So it's
Mm.
like a thing that's like kind of myth, kind of legend. No one seems to believe in it, but there's like this mystery of like, is there a black Aja? And so in the first episode, obviously you see a black Aes Sedai ring. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know that there could, or that they even talked about there being one, but it seems to me they have all the other colors. Why not?
why not black, right?
They would be like super duper stealth, like the Navy SEALs
Exactly.
of the Aja.
Right. So it would be like women who are in other Ajas, but like are secretly
Hmm.
dark friends, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, why wouldn't they? You know,
Why wouldn't
yeah,
some of them be bad people? Out of the
yeah.
number of women who have come through that tower, obviously they can't all be good people. Just because you can channel
No,
doesn't mean you're a good person.
Yeah, exactly. And if like you're touching the one power and people are like sometimes hearing these voices, like how are they some people somebody gotta be called to the dark side sometimes.
Right. Because I mean, you have that much power, like
Hmm.
someone's gonna use it for something bad, because of their oaths that they swear on the oath rod. So it's not a matter of like morals why they keep the oath, but
Hmm.
like they physically can't break the oaths. But there's like things like they can't kill, they can't I mean, except for like in
Yeah.
defense, etc.
Hmm.
Um it
But
makes
we've seen that they have a really, they're really good at finding loopholes.
right. So that's what I was gonna say. Like, I wonder what kind of loopholes this particular sister might be working with because of the constraints of
Mm.
the oaths. But that to me was
Hmm.
like that meeting was the absolute most interesting part. So we know there's a Shinaren who's the person who obviously opened the gates in the previous season. Remember they had
Hmm.
said there was a traitor in their
Yeah.
midst.
Yeah.
Pat and Fane we already knew. Um, Mystery little girl. I didn't know people would bring their kids to their evil meetings,
Me
but
neither.
whatever.
You
And
know what I was
Ishamael.
wondering? Yeah, his ass. I thought that he was oh shit. Nandor the Relentless. Because I was like, wait a second, is that Nandor? I had to Google the actor, totally not the same person. So you're welcome. But it made me wonder because it was like the prologue of the season. It made
Mm,
me, I wasn't sure where in time this was taking place. Like, is this a
right.
flashback? Is this something that's happening as these other things are going on? And if it is like if it's because if they released him, then how far back would this be? But then Pat and Fane wouldn't be alive because so I was a little confused, but I'm guessing now that it's
Wait, Pat Fane's not dead.
no, but I'm saying if this was
Oh, like
way
if it was
way
like the
back in time,
3,000 years ago.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha, gotcha. In the
It's
last
on some
season,
sorceress stone shit.
I really liked that flashback we got from 3,000 years ago where you see like flying
Mm-hmm.
ships and all that stuff just to show you how far they've come. I mean, how much
Mm-hmm.
they lost, rather, how far
Yeah.
backwards they've come from the breaking of the world. And I like that because a lot of times in fantasy, you hear things like, oh, for 1,000 years, we've done such and such. And like sometimes you can't help but wonder, why do you still have the same technology 1,000 years later? Like, do you ever
Yeah.
think that when you're reading Game of Thrones, like,
Yes.
this castle has been here, like nobody updated anything, like the
Yeah.
technology just stopped advancing. So this idea
You
that
just technology stopped the dancing. You're hilarious.
but you know what I mean? It's like why are we still using the same technology 1,000 years later? So I kind of like that in this story, the
Hmm.
explanation is that the world was broken and they had to start from scratch. And
Yeah,
so
you
I
know who
liked
also does a really good job of that?
Brandon
Brandon
Sanderson.
Sanderson.
Sanderson reference number one. We're really back.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I agree.
Moving on, Moraine and Lan. So Moraine is deeply depressed,
Hmm.
having been stilled by Ishamael.
Feel so bad
And
for her.
I feel bad for her too, but I feel bad for Lan because he didn't do anything and she's treating him like shit.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I understand that you're coming from a place of like just deep, deep, deep loss, but like so is he.
Right.
So is he. He can't feel you and he can't help, and you're being a dick to him. And he didn't do anything except for come and save your ass because you would have died.
Right. And like you masked the bond and snuck away from him. He had to track your
Hmm.
ass.
Yeah,
So it's not
which he
like
would,
he did something
thanks to
wrong.
Nynaeve. Yeah, who he would not have been able to find without Nynaeve.
Right. Giving him her tell.
Cartel. Hmm. Anywho, yeah, she's being a dick to him. It's not fair.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But I
But
did like meeting the sisters, Varen and Adelaus. Super horny Adelaus. I love her.
I mean, I was 100%, you know, aligned with her
Yeah,
and
yeah,
her requests. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, no. Do we
Like,
have
no,
to
no.
get dressed?
Yeah. Oh, you must be so hot in those pants.
And she's like, the woolen pants. I'm like, ooh, you are sweating. Like, yeah, loincloth it for me, but you know, whatever.
So Marine's having these meetings. She's having these visitors, these meetings, over 20 at this point. We don't know who
Mhm.
she's meeting with. We only meet the
Nope.
one, Master Doman, what is he? Ilyanar, from Ilion. Yeah. And he seems to be, um,
Peeved.
yeah, he tried to swindle and got swindled.
Hmm.
Merchant is
Yeah,
the word I was going to say. He seems to be a
gotcha.
merchant. He's used
Hmm.
to haggling and all of that thing. So it makes you wonder, why is she contacting this merchant? When he brought out the stone, the unbreakable stone, I remember, I think in the previous season, they had talked about what's keeping the Dark One sealed.
I think they may have mentioned that in this. Maybe it was. Hmm. I feel like they may have talked about that in this episode, but maybe not. Maybe I'm imagining it was from last season.
I I don't remember if they talked about why that was important.
Hmm.
I mean, he thought it was important because it's unbreakable. She's thinking it's
Hmm.
important because it's part of what seals the Dark One. So if it's broken, like,
Right.
they're in really big trouble.
Hmm.
The Dark One and the Forsaken. So yeah, if that's broken, they're in big trouble. I do like how she swindled him though. Like, he thought
Hmm.
this rare, unique stone with this rare, unique problem was going to be so valuable, when in fact it was the poem, the
Yeah,
prophecy,
the
that
prophecy.
he sold for 1 mark. What do you think? How much do you think a mark is? I was talking to
I do not know.
I was talking to Brian about it, and she had said 5 marks could get her a good horse, like one of the best horses from somewhere, I forgot. So I'm like, is a mark like $1,000? Is a mark like $100? It's obviously a
Yeah,
lot of money. I would love to know like the denominations.
me too. And is that something that they talk about in the book at all? No. Yeah, no.
I don't think so. Not as far as I've read anyway.
Hmm. You have to hit a wiki for that info then.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's
it made,
really like,
it
it's
also
really
made me
kind of an
wonder.
unimportant thing, but it's one of the things, like, I always
Yeah.
wondered, how many silvers does it take to make up a dragon?
Yeah,
I have no
exactly.
idea.
Exactly.
Just curious, really.
Someone knows. Hmm.
Someone sat and done the math
And
before.
someone definitely
It's
has.
probably on Reddit
Um,
somewhere.
I was wondering about this meeting that she had. It's like you said, she's been meeting with all kinds of people, but I'm wondering if she like were several of those meetings with merchants because she was looking for this thing specifically. Because after she got it, she's like, ah, it's time for me to go.
Yeah, I
So,
wonder. Maybe she was.
hmm,
I mean, we don't know who she was meeting with. They could have been merchants, all of them. They're obviously people that the other sisters don't know.
yeah, and very
And
kind of them to let her meet them in her house, in their house.
yeah, right. Because I'd be like, bitch, please. Like, you don't get to come to my house and just have people coming all through here, and you won't even sit and eat dinner with me. This is
You
not
know?
this is not a hotel, ma'am. This is my house.
Mm-mm.
Or at least it's Varen's house, and she lets Adelaus live with her. I did
Yeah.
wonder what she was looking for. So it's possible, um, that, yeah, maybe that is exactly what she was looking for. Why Master Doman
I mean,
is uh the last person she sees before she realizes she needs to get the fuck up out of there.
because he tells her that he's being trailed, right? But it also,
Right.
like when I'm watching her go through this, it makes me wonder if she's looking for a way to get back in touch with the power of the one
Yeah, that could
source.
be it too.
Because that's what I would be looking for. I'm like, is there a
Mhm.
rumor? Is there a myth? Has anybody said it? Has anybody, been able to get it back once they've been stilled? That's what I would be interested in if I were her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder though, why she wouldn't tell Lan what it is she's looking for. The sisters, I
Hmm.
understand, because she's keeping this whole Dragon Reborn secret. So if it's related to that, obviously she's not going to say anything. But why keep Lan out of it?
Hmm.
I mean, we know
Maybe for
that
his own
she's trying to
good.
push him
I don't know.
away, but I don't know. I don't know. Master Doman, just because he's named and we meet him, I think we'll see him again.
Mm-hmm.
There's I watched with the subtitles on, and there's some characters in a few of the later episodes that are named, and so I wonder if we'll see them again as well.
Mm-hmm.
We see Egwene with no braid. She's cleaning up
Queen with no brain.
dishes, pouring leftovers into a bucket, which I can't imagine how rank
Yeah.
that must smell.
Dude.
Yeah, definitely gagged. And she accidentally witnesses Alana's threesome, her daytime threesome.
Shout out to Alana.
Alana is a vibe. Like, girl, you don't have
She
work
popped
to
in. I
be
was like,
doing. I was like, you don't have any work to be doing. Like, you're just spending the afternoon, frolicking.
Afternoon delight. Yeah, I love that. You got to like get the midday nut out before you go teach these fucking kids how to, channel.
Poor novice Egwene. Not only as a novice is she stuck with cleaning up after meals and
Mhm.
all of those things, no one even acknowledges her.
Yeah.
There's a part where she's walking by a sister and she simply drops something into her bag and doesn't even look at her.
you know, it's like I feel sorry for her for that reason, but like she knows that's part of the thing. I feel sorry for her mostly though, because she's stuck there with the Sour Patch Kid.
I know. Nynaeve is kind of the worst.
Yeah. It's like
And she's
she's
so
got such a
stubborn.
punchable face.
I think she's gorgeous.
I mean,
I
no,
don't think
she's gorgeous, but she makes you want to punch her because she's always so like
Yeah. And it's like, go home then.
exactly. Like if you want to not be there, then don't
Like,
be
no one's
there.
forcing you. Oh
Exactly.
my God.
No one is
Yeah.
forcing you to be there. You could always come back and check on her if you really want. Um, if you're so concerned about your village, but then also, they think that Rand is dead. So I get that you want to like hold on and protect your little boo-boos, but still,
Yeah. But it's like if you're gonna stay, you don't have to be such a sourpuss about it either.
and you don't have to stay in the White Tower. Like go be a wisdom like in the town.
Right. Right. Her stubbornness is something that really annoys me about her. Like, she's so rude to Alana when she comes down to do the lesson. She doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even try. And I get like, okay, you have trouble channeling when you want it to happen, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe work with somebody and figure out why that's the case instead of being
Get a mentor, bitch.
being insolent.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that's what Alana's trying to do
Is
is
she like that
teach
in the
her.
book?
She's definitely annoying. Like, her stubbornness and all of that. I can't remember what she was like being trained, but she was it, I think it's on brand for her.
Yeah. I like the actress, and I know that she's just supposed to be like this, and so like I let it rock. But
Right. But it's just like, oh my God.
so
Like,
frustrating.
give it up, Nynaeve, please.
Like you're
We
there.
get it. You get it. You don't trust them. We get it.
And
Move
the other
on.
thing is like if you're a wisdom and you're always trying to like, stack your skill game up, like wouldn't this be useful to know how to do?
Like, wouldn't you want to know how to harness the power so you can heal better?
Yeah,
Even if you decide not to stay at the tower and become a full sister, wouldn't you want to be able to at
exactly.
least learn those skills so that when you return, you can know how you're healing people and do it intentionally?
Resumebuilders.com, bro.
It's like you hate the Aes Sedai so much, you feel like you need to be there for Egwene,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, just live in Tarvalon then.
Yeah.
Send her letters.
Yeah. I'm sure you let you like visit because you're so fucking powerful and they want to like tempt you over to,
Right, right.
reconsider. But like, yeah, no. Just be bye, 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 bye. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Didn't even try. Didn't
Didn't
even
even
try.
try. Drank that
Drink,
nasty
drink.
water.
Dude. I was like, eh. But also when she did that, I was like, all right, this bitch is gangster. I have never like, yeah, she does not give a fuck. Um, but still, also just leave. Just
Like, I feel like if I were the mistress of novices, I would have beat her by now.
oh yeah. Because remember when Egwene was trying to channel forgetting everybody's names, but Egwene was trying to channel in the tent where they had
Child Valda.
Yes. And he was like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And she's like, I can't. And she was trying so hard, but then she did it, you know? And
It was like that
you're
little
way more
wisp.
powerful. Yeah. They all laughed. He was like, oh, okay. Not you're not the powerful one. But like, I don't know. Egwene is such good spirits. And if you love her, like, why are you not just trying for her? Like
Yeah.
you're being a bad example.
He's being a sourpuss, and I don't like it. Leandrin killed a novice.
Why does that not surprise me? I
It's
felt
not
like very
shocking
not
at
shocked
all.
at all. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I wondered when they said, she's not allowed to teach novices. I was like, huh? And then, we immediately learned that it's because she killed one.
Yeah.
How did she kill her? I guess it's not important to the plot, but
Yeah, maybe she like burnt out or something, like channeled too much
maybe,
power because she was forcing her too hard or something. Um,
maybe.
yeah, maybe it'll come back and we'll find out why. Maybe it'll be a flashback. But she's like drill sergeant to the drill sergeant's power, and just like, whew, lady. And the crazy thing is like she sees like she is so hell bent on having Nynaeve become part of the Red Aja, and I get it, but like, girl, chill. Like nobody
Yeah, you're
taught you that
being,
by like forcing people to do things like is the best way to get them not to do what you want,
it's
especially
like
somebody like her.
you're being kind of thirsty, and she's been giving you the cold shoulder from the moment she met you.
Maybe she wants that bucks.
Wow.
Hmm.
When Leandrin goes to meet her, since we're on the subject of Leandrin and Nynaeve,
Hmm.
when she goes to meet her and flings her up against the wall,
Yo.
I was like, no wonder you killed a novice before. This is how you train them.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. She's like, we're gonna get the fear to come out of you. Blah 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 blah.
Like, no
Like
wonder you
forcing
killed a
somebody
damn
to like produce a
novice.
Patronus.
Yeah. Just accidentally bring down their worst monster and have them killed.
You
Can you
know?
imagine if somebody at Hogwarts kept having children killed? Although they came pretty close.
I was
And,
gonna say, isn't that Dumbledore's MO?
yeah, I was gonna say they came pretty close, and what's his face did die. So
Oh, Cedric
Cedric
Diggory.
Diggory, yeah,
R.I.P.
that's cool. I'm not even getting into why Hogwarts should have been lost its accreditation and been shut down. That's a conversation for another time.
We still have to do a Dumbledore drink and drag, so let's throw that on the list. It is on our list,
Yeah,
so maybe we
it
should just do that
is.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about the Wolfman we meet, Elias?
I was very excited to meet him because I saw his eyes right away and I was like, wait, how come you are always on glow? Like, what is that about? Like, does this mean that you are in control of your powers? And I was a little bit annoyed at Perrin for not being like, whew, I'm not the only one. Because I would have
Yeah,
been like, oh shit, I'm not the only one, thank God. But I don't know. I guess he's still trying to keep this a secret because he doesn't understand it. But
right.
I feel like maybe a lot of this episode now, as I'm reflecting on it, has a lot to do with like the rejection of mentors.
Yeah,
Right? Like that it's like there's a lot of rejection of people who know better by people who need the help, which is really interesting. And that's not really a connection that I drew upon first and second watch. But yeah, I think it's really cool to see him find this other person and the other person to recognize him for what he is right away. Um,
right.
and to tell him, he's like, this is not your pack.
Um, Elias is in the books,
Mhm.
and I thought we weren't gonna get Elias. Only because in season one, by the time, when you first start seeing him with the wolves, he meets Elias and he's the one who kind of tells him he has a wolf power. And by the time he meets the Tinkers, I think by then he's met Elias.
Mm,
And so since it seemed like he was going through all this wolf stuff by himself, I thought we weren't going to get Elias as a character, but I really liked Elias. So I was like,
yeah,
damn, that's a shame to leave him out. So I was really excited to see him, and I'm glad he's there.
that's awesome.
Yeah, looking like what's his name from Thor?
Yeah. But I was also giving. He looked like a Valerian. Idris and Thor, whose name I can't remember. And I'm like, I'm hearing them call him to like send down the room. I'm gone.
Whatever.
Welcome to
Anyway.
brain fog. So I can.
Pretty much we see more Moody Moraine and Moiraine. The Lan decides to give in and bring her dinner, and she has skipped town. And then we
Okay.
get a fade
A fade
fight.
fight. Word. Okay.
Ooh, those
Moody
fades are
Moraine.
scary.
Oh my God. Yes. And when the merchant dude was like, "Oh, people, I don't know who you have following me," and she told him like, "Yo, you got to get out of
Oh
town
yeah, he's
quick."
described them as men wearing black cloaks with their
With
hoods
the hoods
covering
up.
their faces.
Yeah.
And she immediately knew that they were Fays, and she didn't tell him. She just told him to
Didn't tell
get the
him.
fuck up out of Dodge.
Yeah.
I wonder how would you react though if someone said those are Fades? When at this point, some people don't even think those really exist.
I mean, if Aes Sedai tells me to get the fuck out, I'm gonna believe her and I'm gonna run for it.
Right.
Especially when she like nickled and dimed me on this prophecy, and like I came out empty hand, and she's like, "You know what? Let me give you runaway money."
Right. Right.
Yeah, no.
That's when you start shitting bricks.
Yeah. Ugh. Run, turn tail and get out of there. So yeah. And I didn't like I obviously when I watched it again, I was like, oh, I wonder who I was like, oh, it's totally Fates. But I was like, who could be trailing him? And like obviously they're onto her. Um, and it seems that they were hunting her specifically.
Yes. They are hunting her specifically.
And it's like she must know that because I mean, obviously that's the reason that she decides to leave because he's told her that these fades are on the way and she's got to get out really quickly.
Yeah.
But I also thought I was like, where are you going with no magic powers?
Wouldn't you want land now more than ever?
Yeah, outrun fades.
And you can't outstab them either. You don't even have a sword. That fight was terrifying. The
Mm-hmm.
way they just kind of come from shadow, like they just kind of
Yeah.
melt into
Mm-hmm.
existence.
I forgot that was a thing that happened with them, and I think it's a really, really, really cool power to have.
It's so cool and so scary. I find the fades absolutely terrifying.
All those teeth. Yikes.
Ugh, all those teeth, no
Do
toothbrush.
they bite people?
In the fight, one of them did try to bite Lan.
Mm-hmm.
Lan had his forearm up. Lan had his forearm up, and it started snapping at him.
Mm.
So yeah, the fades do bite apparently while they're fighting.
Mm.
Lan threw his forearm up at one point, and the fade just started snapping at him, which again, terrifying.
Yeah. It's like
Absolutely
instant
terrifying.
infection.
Yeah, no, seriously. They must, and we know that Trollocs swords have poison. Do Fade swords have poison too?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder. I was like wondering. That's why I was like, maybe if they bite you, it's like fatal, and it's like the rot begins to spread in your arm.
Ooh,
Dark
yeah.
Freds don't have dental.
Fades are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. When Moraine got stabbed in the stomach, so obviously I didn't think Moraine's gonna die in episode
Yeah,
one,
no,
right?
no,
She's not gonna
this is
die.
not George.
Yeah, right. But I was like, damn, how's she gonna get out of this?
She had it coming. She had it coming.
Like maybe
She
don't
only had self to blame.
like maybe don't sneak out on your own when you know that there are fades coming for you
And you
and
have no fucking powers.
you don't have powers. Like I think that would have been a great time to be like, hey, Lan, we need to get the fuck up out of here together because the
Or to
fades are
tell
coming for me.
the Aes Sedai who are hosting you that hey, there's fades in your neighborhood. Y'all know that?
Right. She could have just been like, Mastodon, the man I was just meeting has warned me of fades in the area. And then they could have like, you
Just a
know,
PSA, neighborhood watch vibes.
she didn't even have to say why the dark one's eye is on her. Just be like, this seems the dark one's eye is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to make it about her. This man
No,
just told me he spotted fades in the area.
yeah, you know. And he's
But,
he's a
she's
traveler,
like,
obviously. He's come a long way. So he sees, I feel like it's, plausible that he may have seen a Feta too, or suspected or whatever. Yeah,
but
no.
she's also like depressed beyond belief
Yeah.
after being stilled.
Yeah.
I do wonder, is there a way for her to get her power back?
I'm banking
Like,
on
is
it.
she really going to be stilled like the rest of the series?
I'm hoping she gets her power back. Kind of like Ichigo. Well, you don't watch Bleach, but kind of like Ichigo, every time he gets beaten down and he comes back and like fights for his friends and gets stronger than ever and emerges with like new superpowers. That shit is awesome.
Like maybe what Ishamael didn't still her. Maybe it's
Mhm.
just a very powerful shield.
Yeah. I'm feeling like she's just blocked. He cut off
It
the
looked
source,
like
but
it looked like she was about to call on the power, but it turned out to be her sisters, obviously. But there
yeah.
was a second where she's like trying to, and you start to see the light. And I was like, ah, it's
Yeah.
back. Like it was, I always
Especially
fall
because
for
she
that
tried when
shit.
they're in the bathtub, right? Where it's just like where she's like kind of
Yeah.
doing the handy things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
It's one
felt
of
sad.
those things that I always fall for because it's like I didn't think that maybe the sisters were there and they were doing it. I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
she must have her powers back. I always fall for that shit. But it makes it makes watching things fun for me though. I just
Yeah.
completely ignore the obvious and I'm like,
I mean, but we have been rewarded for that expectation many times across fantasy, right?
yeah.
Just at the right moment, like everything comes back and they're yeah, that
Yeah, yeah.
moment.
Lan getting his ass whooped was sad and scary as well because it's Lan, so you
You
assume
never
he's
seen him
gonna
get served
win.
that way.
Yeah, no, but then it's like it's Lan against three fades. It's not Lan against three men.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's against magical creatures that can slip back into the shadow and like jump
At
scare
night.
you.
And it's
Yeah.
nighttime.
Yeah. So when he started getting his 1,000 cuts, whew, I felt for him. So thank God that the sisters and Tomas showed up. Um, how cool was that flaming sword?
So dope.
How haven't we seen Moraine try that? That was a cool trick.
That really was.
And the sound attack, or what would you call it?
Sonic?
A sonic attack. Thank you. Ugh.
Mhm.
Um, to know that that's another thing that fucks with fades. I mean, I
That
guess she
was
told
really cool too.
everyone to cover their ears, but Tomas wasn't covering his ears.
Mm. Maybe he's
Anyway,
got air
fade
shields.
fight.
Fade fight.
All in all, I enjoyed the episode a lot.
Me too. It was just like, just. I mean, I think I ended up watching them back to back. No, I watched the rest of that the next day. But it was just really good to be back in the action,
Mm-hmm.
right in the thick of things, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like have more. It's kind of the thing where you're having more questions that are coming from it, but also, a couple of things were answered. And yeah, I like all the cliffhanger details because like I want to know like who is this little girl? That's why it made me think maybe this is a flashback and she grew up to be, I don't know, Moraine. And I'm like, no, no, that doesn't seem like that would work out. But
Mm-mm.
yeah.
No, I mean, maybe the little girl isn't important at all. Maybe it's just showing us how different types of people can be dark friends.
Maybe the little girl is the girl who appears in the next episode,
I have to think about that.
the novice. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in the next episode.
So just chill till the next episode.
Da-da-da-da.
And on that
Gotta change
note,
the key so they don't come for us.
to find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, 1,000 Eyes in One Podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as 1,000 Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, 1,000 Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram. I've been Tanya.
And I'm always Nikki.
Thank you for whoever you are listening to us. And we'll see you next time.